Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aisha U-Kiu, and it is my honor to host you all here on Connections with Aisha. I would like to thank Naya Daur for this platform to help Pakistani Americans collaborate with our diaspora at large. I am very honored here today to have our guest with us, Dr. Mahmoud Alam, who is a cardiologist in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Thank you, Dr. Alam, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting.
Absolutely. As all of our viewers know, a third of Pakistan is underwater amid its worst floods in history. More than 1,000 people have died from the floods, nearly 400 of them children. And while millions have been displaced, according to Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority, there have been multiple efforts to begin fundraising and to rebuild the infrastructure of Pakistan. Before we begin today's program, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Mahmoud Alam, who has been in the medical practice for over 30 years in the United States. He holds an academic appointment as Assistant Professor of Medicine at Hackensack Meridian Health School of Medicine. Dr. Alam was the president of UPNA, which is the Association of Pakistani Descent Physicians of North America, in 2008. Dr. Alam has served on the board of directors of the Human Development Foundation of North America and the Council on American Islamic Relations New Jersey chapter. In 2014, Dr. Alam co-founded American Muslims for Democracy, which is a nonprofit in New Jersey. Dr. Alam also joined the American Pakistani Public Affairs Committee, commonly known as APPAC, as a member of their board of directors. I have the honor of serving with Dr. Alam at APPAC. He has been appointed as the president of the New Jersey chapter of APPAC in 2020, and APPAC is an organization that works to empower the community through civic engagement, political activism, philanthropy, and advocacy for Pakistani Americans, especially its diaspora in the United States, by joining hands with other organizations for social justice. Dr. Alam was recently appointed as the Senior Global Healthcare Advisor at Zakat Foundation of America in 2021. He advises on the sustainable healthcare development in underdeveloped countries like Pakistan. He is actively involved in fundraising and navigating delivery of life-saving goods to the millions of flood-stricken and displaced people in Pakistan. And obviously, everyone's here. All of our hearts go out to the people of Pakistan. And we are here today to ask some tough questions that we need to discuss as the Pakistani American community. So, Dr. Alam, I would like to first begin with some concerns that our community has. So, I would like to ask you, as a Pakistani American senior activist and community organizer, what concerns have you heard from US-based organizations and individuals that are being requested to raise funds for the Pakistani government and for nonprofit organizations doing work on the ground?
Thank you, Aisha, for inviting me again. And to answer your first question, I think there are always concerns about the scale of calamity we are facing and how to handle it and how to reach out to those people who are affected, and how at the grassroots level, at the level where people are, displaced, how to quickly and swiftly get the aid from anywhere in the world, including the country where we are working right now in Pakistan, and the diaspora is rightfully concerned about it. If I compare this, I have worked in, this is the third disaster, okay?
Okay.
I was the treasurer of UPNA in 2005 when earthquake happened, and subsequently in 2006, most of the work was done for the rehabilitation, and I was the secretary, and we managed to send millions of dollars of help and in-kind donations, and coordinated different international organizations to help Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, in 2010, when this flood happened, at that time, a lot of international involvement was there, and everybody went and tried to help the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So this is now called the worst natural disaster that country is facing in its history, 75 years history.
Right, yeah.
And So, and unfortunately, Pakistan is more divided than ever before in terms of its political stability, political leadership, and how to work together. That country is lacking that thing right now. I thought that this big disaster will bring the people together and
Hmm.
work together to
Yeah.
do that. Everybody is trying to help. I'm not undercutting or saying that nobody, yes, everybody is there to help, but we would have been much more relieved and happy to see if people, especially the political leaders, will leave behind their differences and get together. And that could have been the beginning of much more collaboration is needed. But unfortunately, finger pointing goes on. Divide is more serious than we think, and that may have some roadblocks in sending or getting the help down uh, at this time when it is needed the most.
Thank you. Yeah. And I want to kind of expand on that a little bit. Like, how would you say, like when you're watching the news and you're watching all of these political differences, how is that hurting the average Pakistani when you see all of this politics taking front stage?
Yeah, it's very hurtful. It is very disappointing, and sometimes it is depressing. But I tell you, the resolve of the people, the
Mhm.
common people, the business people, the non-profit organizations, even within that country. Okay,
Mhm.
a lot more has been collected within that country by the common people who want to help their brethren and the families who are affected seriously with this disaster. And this is going to be uh, a few years from now to have everything is in place, but there will be a lot more needed other than just uh, rehabilitating and reconstruction, because the most important thing which we always forget, how to prevent this thing happening again to at
Right.
that scale. Okay,
Right.
so that is very important question which we need to address right now to prevent it happening again.
Absolutely. No, I think that's exactly, those are all the right questions. And in your experience, obviously, this is not the first time that Pakistan is dealing with something like this. But do
Mhm.
you feel like this time is different than before just because of the fact that there is so much political turmoil in the country right now? Do you see a difference?
You see, we whoever follow the news from our country, our motherland, they can feel for themselves. Okay,
Hmm.
so I don't want to editorialize anything, but I'm very hopeful, I'm very positive that these kind of disasters brought the people together, and this will be again something uh, which will bring the nation together and will also maybe give some impetus to the leaders in that country, that we need to work together to uplift that country, not only from this disaster, but in general from the economic, situation we are in, and
Right.
many other governance issues which we are facing at the present time.
Sure, absolutely. Do you sense any sort of hesitation from the Pakistani American community to give to nonprofits that are doing work there because of the political turmoil, because of the lack of transparency? I mean, what are you hearing from the Pakistani American community here?
Well, everybody wants to help. I tell you, this is the same situation when people carrying money in their pockets, want to donate, want to do, give it to the more reliable organizations who have the infrastructure or manpower to deliver to those who are, homeless, who don't have food, who don't have shelter, all those things. That is the first phase in which we are struggling. So at this time, a lot of mushrooming and personal efforts also happens. Families gets involved. I think all these things go to up to certain level. But if you have more organized effort, more experienced organizations, more transparent organizations, the organizations who have a track record of working in these situations, I would say you will be okay to donate to those organizations, and it is easier to find out the work of those organizations. And this media thing, when you can donate online,
Mhm.
check has not to be mailed in most situations, then it is deposited and then it goes. It is much more faster if I compare it from with the
Or-
earthquake of 2005
uh,
2006.
okay, so you're saying the technological element of the fact that you can directly transfer money online is kind of adding to the transparency and accountability now, as opposed to before when you'd have to write checks and you didn't really know where that money was going.
Yeah, it improves the transparency, definitely.
Okay.
And I tell you, one thing has happened. Good things also happen in
Yeah.
Pakistan.
Yeah, sure.
And over the last, 20 years, I'm involved as expatriate for the help of the people of Pakistan. That the country has developed guidelines and also the evaluation of the international organizations and non-governmental organizations. Very robust mechanism is in place.
Great,
Okay.
great.
Only thing, and that is actually more than you need to regulate those organizations, because I have been actively involved with the work over there.
Mhm.
But implementation of those rules which are developed, that needs to be stressed more, and the people who monitor all those things, they have to be more strict, and all those statements should come out at the end of the year, that how much money was received, how much
Yeah,
was given, and all those things. But
great.
in general, accountability programs and the rules are developed and they are there.
Got it. Well, that is definitely comforting to hear. I know for a fact that a lot of Pakistani American professionals live in the U.S., live in the U.K., and I know that they're giving back as much as they can during this crisis. The next question is kind of shifting towards solutions, right? From a leadership standpoint, as Pakistani American leaders, how would you advise that national leadership and disaster management response teams can rise above their party line differences to work together in the best interest of the country?
That's a tough question and good one and very legitimate one. So there are many things to this kind of situation is okay. We as a people are very good to respond in the disasters and emotionally get involved with the situation
Mhm.
and try to help out as much as can, and it has been seen time and again, for the last several decades. The As a country, what we lack is the sustainable development, identification of the issues to prevent those things happening in future.
Mm.
So we all know this is part of the climate change, global warming, human induced global warming in particular. Glaciers are melting. Okay, rainfall is increasing. This year, as compared to the last year, twice as much as rain has happened in Pakistan, and
Mhm.
in certain areas, 5 times more. In
Right.
certain areas
Yeah.
of Sindh and Balochistan,
Right.
that is one part. One part which is not talked about is, okay, we talk about dams and it is difficult and it takes a lot of money. A
Sure.
lot more money is needed to make those dams to prevent those things.
Okay.
But what we have lacked and failed is the drains, the natural drains which are available to drain the excess water which happens in the rivers.
Okay.
The Unfortunately, government let the population develop there, housing develop there, drains are closed, and
Mm.
then the natural flowing rivers and canals, they cannot handle the flash flooding.
Mm-hmm.
That causes all this disaster which you are seeing today.
Ah, I see. Okay.
And maintaining and not allowing people to inhabitate or make homes and developments on in those areas,
Mm.
that is the most important aspect of flood management in Pakistan. Otherwise, I tell you, we will be seeing it again and again, and I hope we don't have to suffer from this again. So this is the priority number one.
Okay.
Okay, the disaster relief is good, but until you have a sustainable development and you scientifically identify the issues to rectify those, and I explained to you two D's, dams and drains. And drains are much cheaper to make and handle, and water goes through that to designated areas, not affecting the populations and communities. So
Okay.
that will be the great thing if somebody can do it for Pakistan. Uh, and I think it has to be come from the government.
Okay. So just to dig into that a little bit more, that I mean, thank you for putting it so eloquently. So dams and drains. So with dams, I do vaguely remember a really big push a few years ago for building that. Can you share with the Pakistani American audience like what you know about that effort and why it didn't come to fruition or what happened there? Was it
Yeah,
political or what happened?
yeah. It is the same as, you know, political divide, and some people think that it will affect them badly, but we have to see the national interest.
Okay.
Okay. And when we were growing up and still hear about the Kalabag Dam, and that was shut down for at least couple of times, then this dam which is uh, going to be built in Gilgit Baltistan, and that will help a lot. And fund was started to raise and everything. But political stability of the governments, and also doing the same thing if the one government change and next government comes,
Hmm.
carrying on that policy. Okay,
Okay.
so we really do not debate effectively in our parliaments where the decisions are made.
Mm.
We need to learn more and do more, that we have a positive thinking and debate, and let the party who is in the leadership in the government handle it. And the opposition plays a positive criticism role, but that should be the national policy. That
Mm.
policy should not be affected by the change in the governments, whether A party is there or B party is there. So
Right.
that is one of the things which that country lacks a lot. And some, again, there is I would say that impasse also on these climate change thing. And like, even in America people say that it is not real, and there are a lot of people
Sure.
believe that.
Sure.
So but I think we see even flooding in America, where all those climate changes are happening, and it takes time to plan and prevent those things. We hear it every day. But country like Pakistan needs it more. We are thickly populated country, uh, not small area, but still in this you can see that even one of the other disaster which we will be having the impact from is at least 2 million acres of agriculture land is underwater,
Correct. Yeah.
and lack of crops, and wheat and rice, and the staple food, that we will be dependent more on imports, and then it always disturbs the balance of export and import, and that put a lot of strain on already bleak economy that country is suffering from.
Mhm.
So that is one of the important thing. Housing will be important, but and infrastructure will be important. 5,000 kilometers of roads are underwater and destroyed.
Mhm.
1.2 million houses are destroyed. 240 bridges, which are very critical for the people's movement from one area to the other,
Right.
especially in smaller rural areas. That is going to affect the whole thing a whole lot and will affect a lot of effort in its management.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it is truly devastating what is happening there. And just for context to our audience and to our viewers, Pakistan is roughly the size as the state of Texas. So we're talking about, that size, of a country. And you mentioned floods here. And we had Hurricane Katrina that I vividly remember. And, the disaster management team, FEMA, like everyone went into effect. I think the notable difference, though, as you said, is that here we have these agencies that have, that rise above the party lines and do the work that needs to be done. Do you feel like that the reserves in Pakistan have also been impacted because of the turmoil politically and like not having now that we have all this devastation with agriculture and our crops? Like, do you fear that that's going to be an issue long term as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm,
Okay. This is very important issue, and every day I think, every day when I speak with my friends in Pakistan,
yeah.
most of them are not politicians, but they care about the country. Uh, Something has, if this big disaster doesn't bring the politicians together and
Mhm.
leave their differences and work for the country, okay, then it is going to be very difficult to redevelop one third of the Pakistan which is underwater.
Sure.
It is really underwater. We use this
Mhm.
as as a saying, like, something is
Yeah.
underwater, but
Yeah,
it really has
figuratively.
happened. It
Yeah.
means it has a meaning.
Yeah, no, this is, I mean, and I've traveled, through many of those areas. I mean, they're beautiful regions like Swat, Kalam, Kagan, and I've visited them personally. And, it's just the magnitude of this is very difficult for us to fathom. I think I saw a report where it mentioned that there's literally like a small ocean inside of the country itself that, we're waiting to, see how we can rebuild, and it's truly heartbreaking. This kind of leads into the final question for today's segment, and you kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier, but the infrastructure there, right, in Pakistan, what infrastructure or policy changes would you personally would like to see the government implement with this $1 billion bailout to address this unprecedented flooding and the ongoing global warming crisis?
Yeah, I think uh, if we look at the Pakistan's economy and GDP and Human Development Index and everything
Mm,
put together, despite all those weaknesses, um Pakistan was able to manage the roads and connection and the highways, although most of that came as either a foreign aid or a loan from different international organizations or pacts Pakistan made with neighboring countries. But I go to Pakistan frequently, as you and many of us. We
mhm.
have seen that that thing was not lacking and was uh, coming up, and it was easier for the people to travel in lesser time more comfortably on
Definitely.
those infrastructure roads.
Right, right.
This infrastructure which is affected, of obviously many of those roads are affected, but in the smaller areas, the dirt roads and uh, kache ghar and roads, those things, those will be really important things to recreate, and it will all have the let's see how the things happen.
Right.
Although 33 million people are displaced, but most of those 33 million are in the geographic same location, little bit displaced. The actually only half of the million people had to leave their houses and go somewhere else right now. This is the
Right.
report from 8 hours ago by writers.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
I'm quoting the writers on these numbers,
Sure.
and that will grow. uh, it will be, if we do a planned Okay, and I tell you, I have the personal experience. In 2010, many organizations, including APNA and Human Development Foundation and many others, they adopted villages to redevelop.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
which were totally destroyed and wiped out by the floods.
Right.
The villages which we developed with the material that is long lasting. A lot of climate adjustment comes with it. Okay,
Mhm.
and you know that those homes which we built, they had a bathroom also, which
Mm.
most of the village homes, you know, that they don't have
Right.
wood. So and that can be done in a very low cost.
Sure.
Okay, very, and can be built right there in Pakistan.
Sure.
Okay, they are resistant to the earthquake. They are resistant to the the numbness, the increase in water in the air or many other things, and organize the house in a better way for the children, and you know, people living in just one room. Everything is in one room. You know, we
Mhm.
had
Yeah.
those small houses. We had at least two rooms and bathroom separate.
Right.
Okay, so these things should, we should be mindful, and I would suggest to all international donors and helpers to take the projects and build it for the people. Don't give the cash money out.
Mm.
Okay. Yes, you can give cash money out to buy the food and you know, do certain other things,
Sure.
but I think development can be done and swiftly can be those damaged houses can be replaced and many other things. We
Mhm.
also built a school in that village which we developed, which was not there before.
Mhm.
So a lot more good can come to the society, to the
Mhm.
poor.
Mhm.
Obviously, many economists are projecting that the people living below the poverty line in that country, millions more will be added to that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so if you will add that will be, so there it is multi-dimensional disaster to
Correct.
manage.
Correct. Yeah. No, that's
and
a great way to
and
put it.
yeah, and I tell you also one other good thing is that I listen to many other in Pakistan who
Mhm.
are the technocrats who know that how to fix these things. They can at least propose you or make a plan for it.
Okay.
All help is available there. Okay,
Mhm.
it is all how we are going to manage it, how we are going to orchestrate it, and how as with a unity of purpose
Mm.
that is needed by the politicians of that country. Yes,
Absolutely.
you stay with your party, you stay with your party. Okay,
Sure.
what we are lacking is unity of purpose that will enhance the impact of the donations and funds which are collected not only in that country but also internationally, and a lot more people are there to help.
You're right.
Just CEO of Apple announced much
Mhm.
more money than America announced for the
Sure.
help of
Sure.
American government announced for
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
for the help of those countries. I think I don't remember the right number. I think 130 million. Uh, So there are a lot more organizations which will help, but they may be also looking for reliable partners
Mhm.
there. And this thing has happened over the decades. People find reliable partners. I
Sure.
tell you as a physician, if WHO, World Health Organization, do not find reliable partnership with the government, they
Yeah.
have been doing that partnership with non-profit or other organizations. There are a lot of good meaning, well qualified people in Pakistan who can take care of Pakistan themselves.
Excellent. No, that's very uplifting, and I think you definitely nailed it with the unity piece. I mean, it's actually reminding me a lot of our founding father Qaid Azam's principles of faith, unity, and leadership. And I think you completely identified the issue right now. And sure, there's a financial and economic element to it, but we need the unity with our leadership in order to make sure that we develop sustainably after this. So thank you so much, Dr. Alam, for your time and for your wisdom. I think that our viewers are definitely going to benefit from this expertise. We are praying for the people of Pakistan, and I know every Pakistani American is doing the best that they can to give back to the country during this difficult time. Thank you so much again for your time today. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for inviting. I enjoyed the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.